Good evening, everybody. You're all very welcome to Words on Whiskey, a special edition in aid of Focus Ireland. So thank you very much for joining us. It is an important and significant podcast this evening, and a very worthwhile cause that I really hope the Irish whiskey lover gets behind and supports. It's the brainchild of the Single Malt shop, who have kindly supported this and actually came up with the idea of doing a charity event to raise awareness and raise funding for a much needed charity and the fantastic work that Focus Ireland do at a very, very difficult time. You know, I mean, it's a difficult time for everybody at the moment. And really, we appreciate any help that can be given. And so far, I'm delighted to see that we've raised, last view, €891, which is great. And I'd love to see that reach much higher, and I'm sure it will. So just a little bit about the charity. So Focus Ireland is an all-Ireland charity that raises funds for those that are homeless and those that are in danger of being evicted. And I think it's often gets neglected and forgotten about that in a country that is so wealthy, that we have this problem here where there are people without a roof over their head and without a warm meal. So I really want to thank those that have supported us. It's a fantastic cause, and I'm looking forward to seeing how everybody can get behind it. I mean, today there are 2,000 children in homeless accommodation or on the streets, and regretfully, you know, it is a dereliction of the government of their duty to provide a roof, comfort, and safety for its citizens. And I think, you know, if we can do something to raise awareness, it'll all be good. I mean, it is a fantastic cause. It's easy to get wrapped up in what we do on a daily basis. We have our own struggles, but there are those people that have more worries than whether to add water or not to their cask strength whiskey. And that's not to say that I myself am not guilty of that as well. But if we can do anything to support the cause, please do donate. And there's information there at the bottom of where you can donate, and I'd appreciate that. So look, I think you know, we can avoid being complicit in the hardship that these charities have, and at Christmas time, we can put our thoughts with them. That'd be great. So thank you for joining us. As I said, it is a special event, and the man who is responsible for raising the awareness of this is joining us there. So good evening, Ed. Thank you very, very much for joining us.
Good evening. Great. How are you? Here. I'm very well, Sergius. Thanks very much, and great to be here, and delighted to be contributing in a small part to this very worthy cause and this evening.
Yeah. Well, look, thank you very much again. I think raising awareness and, of course, raising funding, and even, you know, the thought of helping those that are in a much more difficult situation than us is important. And probably not just at Christmas, but I guess particularly so. So you very, very kindly donated a Middleton very rare single cask, 24-year-old, which is very, very limited. There's only 96, or sorry, there were only 96 bottles. You were telling me earlier that that number has gone down drastically. So congratulations on that. It was a €990, 96 bottles and cask strength. And obviously you worked with Irish distillers on that, and which will bring in our other guest this evening, which whom is well known. So good evening, Ger.
Evening, Ger.
Evening, Ed. Evening, Sergio.
He's got the tree up. Good man.
Yeah, you put tree up already. You're very quick. I'm sure you spent a lot of time decorating that chair.
I did, just for you.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, look, it is getting into that season. I mean, we've we've had an absence of ourselves for a while, and delighted to be back with such a great cause. But Ed, perhaps you might tell us a little bit about how you decided to get into partnership with Irish distillers and go for, if you like, the cream of the crop and pick a Middleton Very Rare single cask to go with.
Well, oh, sorry, the lights have just gone out here. Let me get those
Ah,
back on.
there you go.
Look, as you know, I think we were on when we first launched about 6 months ago. Irish distillers have been extremely supportive from day one. They welcomed us. They, I think, saw what we were trying to do and have been incredibly supportive. And, you know, as you know, they, I think, sell a cask of Middleton Redbreast once a year, if you're lucky. And we were just lucky this year that they chose us rather than us choosing them. We were obviously would be very happy to do this as often as possible, but it's just an honor and a privilege to be able to showcase this incredible brand and this incredible whiskey. So you know, it's only been we've only been going for live for 6 months with the shop, but we've been partnering with our friends at IDL for over a year now. So this is just a nice way to end our first year. So we're very grateful.
Yeah, fantastic. Tell us a little bit about the process, and obviously you would liaise with Ger a lot through the whole process of actually obtaining a cask. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, Ger and Shane, who was looking after us back then, as they basically came to us, as they do, I think, with certain customers once a year, and offered us a number of casks. And then we had a tasting of 3 options with myself, my colleague here in Ireland, Glenn, and 3 of our colleagues in Sweden. As you know, we're owned by a Swedish fund. Swedish guys who are very respected and eminent whiskey collectors and experts, and so, you know, we had a great taste. I'm sure Ger will tell a little bit more about it, but God, it's going back about 7 or 8 months now. We had a really good tasting, dug into everyone in detail, and I think we all agreed. It was a unanimous decision that this was the liquid we wanted. So that's it. It was a very collaborative process, and then once we'd chosen our liquid and our cask, it was over to our friends at IDL to put it all together and try to deal with the challenges that supply chain has presented these days, and finding boxes and bottles and labels and all that. But I'm just very grateful with the end product and the fact that we've been able to bring it out in time for Christmas.
Yeah. Ger, tell us a little bit more about that process, please, and who's involved, and, you know, a little bit about the stock itself.
So Kevin O'Gorman essentially will select a short list of casks based on, you know, the detailed essentially request that comes from the single malt shop. And, you know, Ed is very modest, but he has, you know, decades of experience within the drinking industry, and he has whiskey experts in Ireland and also in Sweden that help guide him and his other partners within the business. And they are very knowledgeable. So they were people who knew what they wanted, which is refreshing from the point of view of they were able to tell us, you know, what they were interested in. But ultimately, Kevin O'Gorman, our master distiller, would select or whittle it down to a number of casks based on what type of profile of cask that the single malt shop wanted, and then I present them then to Ed, to Glenn, and the rest of the team in the single malt shop and the guys. And I don't want to make it seem like it was a hard process. It was really enjoyable. But they were asking great questions. You know, they were asking, particularly, I suppose a reference for them would have been around Scotch, and Ed and Glenn were able to say, you know, you got to see this Irish whiskey. It's definitely, you know, really interesting and up, and, you know, it's definitely the place to be now. and they were really impressed. And my heart was like, glowing. I was absolutely overjoyed that they loved the selection process and how difficult they found it to pick one that they definitely went for. But it was unanimous. We all landed on this 24-year-old virgin oak cask, and it was the one that just delivered, I think, the most impact. It's really, I think, very vibrant on the nose, and just a great drinker as well. And from that point of view, I think just the color of it was something that we all latched onto straight away, with just how it looked in the glass. But then once you nosed it, it just provided loads of character. And then also on the palate, then it was just delicious. And it is as simple as that. When you're selecting it, my guidance to people is pick the one you like the most. Don't worry about what it is, where it's from. Just stick your nose in there, have a taste. And we all went that one. And it was the one I selected myself, and everybody else around the table selected virtually, because we weren't able to do it in person, unfortunately. But it was through the wonders of technology and through great distribution by Ed, by getting it shipped all over to Sweden, around Ireland, that we were able to all sit down and taste it at the same time. So that's the process in a very, kind of simplistic way. It is sitting down, sharing a glass of whiskey with a group of like-minded individuals, and picking the one you like the most.
Yeah. What do you look for, Ger, as a brand? Like, the Middleton brand is obviously a hugely well-recognized and highly respected brand, described as the epitome of Irish whiskey. What is it you look for when partnering with a client? One
thing would be if it's essentially a customer that has suitable, that it makes sense to partner with them. So you're looking, particularly with a brand like Middleton, you're looking for something that is a retailer that also, it's usually a specialist retailer or a luxury retailer. So from our point of view, it just makes sense. That's where the customers are going to be, that for this luxury product. So it's simply just down to, the single malt shop is a specialist retailer. They have an amazing selection of whiskies on their website, and I was about to say in their shop, but it is a shop, but it's on the website, single malt, on the single malt shop website. And yeah, the singlemaltshop.com is just a great place to even just go down and look down at their catalog and look at the selection of whiskies that they've curated for their customers. And it just means that the customers are there. They're the customers of the single malt shop .com are also the customers that we're trying to reach with Middleton. So it's a symbiotic relationship. It makes sense for both of us to partner on it. They're a specialist retailer who knows their stuff, and then we've got a product that will be satisfying for their customers. So that's my kind of thinking on it, and I think Ed agrees. I think he
100%.
I agree with that.
Yeah. What was the decision, Ed? To go into the premium end of the Irish whiskey sector?
Well, I think the founders of our fund and our shop were, very much driven by a desire to be a sort of destination for rare and limited and collectible whiskies. We are premium. I think we wanted to offer a premium product. There's a very competitive marketplace out there.
Sure.
But we don't want to just be known for very expensive whiskies. We have whiskies at various prices. We're delighted to say we just put some more of the Blue Spot whiskey up there, and we have a range of price points. But I think the common thread is that the bottles we sell are premium brands. They are limited in availability on a global scale. Some may be more widely available in Ireland, but not so outside of Ireland. And they are in short supply. They are very much in demand. They're in short supply, and Middleton is the perfect match. Ireland is our home. We want to be a premium retailer, and Middleton is the most premium brand on the market here in Ireland. So in that respect, this is a great match. And as I said, we're just starting. We're learning. This is our first. We just had our first Black Friday. We're having our first Christmas. We're learning about what our customers want, and we'll be taking that learning into next year and fine tuning our range and working more with suppliers, etc. But yeah, I think our DNA, if you like, is a premium destination for rare premium collectible whiskies.
Yeah, and it isn't limited to only Irish whiskey, is it?
No. We sell whiskies from all over the world, from Taiwan to India as well as your Scotch and your Irish and Japanese and American. So no, we have a wide range. We'd like to extend it a bit more, not too wide. But no, we want to offer a good range of whiskies from across the world, a good range of price points, but still a tight and selective range.
Yeah. So you have obviously kindly donated this bottle here. Is that 50? Yeah. What's the ABV? 57%?
No, 57.3.
57.3. That's a fairly hefty ABV.
Easy, not that you noticed.
Drinking. Yeah, it's super accessible. Like, I think you would be so surprised that it's 57.3%.
That was the big thing that we discussed, right, Jerry? I mean, nobody could believe it was 57.3. It's exceptional.
Yeah. Well, I have it here in front of me, and Jerry will take us through tasting. But in terms of the draw, you're happy to ship this internationally, Ed, are you?
Wherever we ship on the site and it's listed, countries we ship to, we are happy to ship this bottle. Whoever is the winner, we're delighted to be offering out. More importantly, as you said at the beginning, it's about just contributing in some way to the Focus Island cause. And as I said, if we can get to over 1,000 tonight, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, well, let's hope we do. I'd love to see people pushing in their direction. But there are actually other. So you do have also a Nahru 14 that you've kindly donated.
Yep.
Which will also make its way to somebody. And
it's the second prize. I think it's a good example of the exciting things that are happening in the Irish whiskey market today. These guys are doing great things, and the liquid here is fantastic as well. So we'd be very happy to offer that up. It's just whatever we can do for the cause.
Excellent. Well, look, we'll get in on that ourselves, and we have here a Redbreast 10-year-old, which was initially for the birdhouse. Yeah, and so we're happy to give that as well. So that's 3 prizes, and everybody that does make a donation, they will receive a copy of Irish Whiskey Magazine, which, although overdue, is going to print on Monday. So that will be some reading for you at Christmas. So look, like I said, the main focus is really to raise awareness and get some funds in for a really worthwhile charity. But Ger, I suppose we can indulge ourselves, and I have poured myself a glass. Thank you very much, Ed, for sending out those samples. And
welcome.
Ger, maybe you tell us.
Everyone who was there was a few people received them today. I hope they're watching, and I hope you received your sample and enjoy.
Yes, I can see some of the names there for sure. So thank you all very much. But I mean, it does carry, how much can you stray from the traditional Middleton trademark, if you like, in terms of the flavor? Does it have the signature?
Oh, it does.
Middleton note?
And what that is the commonality across the Middleton range is ex-bourbon. American oak. I shouldn't say ex-bourbon, because obviously this is a virgin American oak barrel made with Quercus alba, white American oak from the eastern continental United States, from places like Missouri, Kentucky, etc. And that is the commonality that you find from 1984 to the present vintage of Middleton, very rare vintage release. And when you look at whiskies like Barry Crockett and Dark Waylock, the core whiskey is all white American oak.
Yes.
And in this case, this is one single white American oak, virgin American oak barrel that has been charred and then filled with pot still whiskey and then bottled after 24 years. So that's at cask strength as well.
Yeah.
And
So I mean, this is where the difference
non-choking.
really lies in terms of, you know, the standard, if there is such a word, standard range of Midland is that this is a pure pot still at cask strength.
Correct. And it's virgin American oak. So it's, 24 years of aging in a barrel that has not held anything else in there. So you get tons of wood influence. So that'd be the tannin giving it its color, and also that what I would call that dryness around the front of the palate. You get then a big injection of vanillic acid, so you get this almost effervescence when it hits your palate, and then the wood, I suppose it then transfers into definitely a toasted oak. You can almost, I don't know how to say it, you can almost taste the charring, if that's very much true, across the middle of the palate. And this lovely bitterness from that is contrasted by the sweetness of the wood sugars and the whiskey itself. And it leads to an incredibly long finish. I tasted this possibly 2-3 minutes ago, and I'm still kind of getting little hints of it around my palate. So it's a really, from a flavor point of view, it's got this initial, it's got all that creaminess that you get from pot still whiskey. It's got all of that lovely sweetness that you get both from the American oak and from the spirit itself. You do get this orange rind character in there, which is like, if you like an old fashioned, it's like the best old fashioned you'd ever had in a glass. But it has all of that creme brulee character that if you'd love something like, that you may have found in something like Yellow Spot. But it's really quite complex, but very simple to understand at the same time. And I think it's different and delicious, super easy to drink, and hard to believe it's at that 57.3% ABV character again. So that's my kind of read on it from a point of view of its makeup. It is something that is very much in the DNA of Middleton Very Rare, because of that. The commonality you find across the range is that white American oak, whether it's virgin or first fill ex-bourbon or Tennessee whiskey barrels. Yeah.
I mean, the color is fantastic, and certainly does not drink like a 57.3% whiskey. It's unbelievable. Yeah. So it's really, but the viscosity is there. And the spice that you associate, of course, with the pot still is there, but the creaminess and the zesty flavors are there.
Yeah, it's amazing, because it could, in your mind, if you look at it, you'd imagine it's overwhelmed by the wood. But there's really good balance there between that pot still character, that creamy barley character, and all of those wood spices that are wood compounds are referred to. Are really manifesting themselves. And look, it's had 24 years for both the spirit and the wood to get to know each other. So they really are one now. But the balance is there. There's neither one or the other that is dominating. And I'm getting now a dryness at the front of the palate, which is really moresome. It's wanting you to, it's lovely and moist still in the middle of the palate, but it's definitely it's inviting you to come back at it. It's a really, I think it's pleasurable. It's luxurious, and again, as I said, it's complex but simple to understand if you drink it.
Yeah, it's amazing that after 24 years in a virgin oak cask, that the wood hasn't overpowered this at all. I mean, the balance is amazing.
As you know, as I often make the point, I don't actually make the whiskey, so I'm just speaking on behalf of the people that do. And I've spoken to Barry Crockett. I've been lucky enough to know Barry Crockett and talk to him about how, why American oak, what the reason. And the number one reason is you put a certain type of spirit into that American oak barrel, be it virgin or first fill. you will know at a certain point in the future it's more than likely going to turn out a certain way. It's that what I would call not stability, but you're able to almost know in the future where you're going to be, whereas it's a little trickier with other types of wood like sessile oak or Quercus robur, so you basically with it you have this you have this confidence that you're going to be getting something within a certain range after a longer period. And I think that's one of the reasons why Barry Crockett favored American oak so much himself, because of that stability that it provided to him as a distiller, putting his spirit into barrels.
Yeah, it's amazing how it has become such an iconic, and that's not underplaying it or overplaying it. Sorry, I mean, it has become an iconic. But you just have to see when any annual release is done, it just disappears.
Yeah, and it's down to the growth of Irish whiskey, and also the growth of the brand itself. It's almost transcended Irish whiskey and has become a luxury brand. And you can think of examples in Scotland and Taiwan and Japan that have also achieved this type of type of respect within the world. And certainly for me, it's the pinnacle of Irish whiskey, and really it was the first Irish luxury brand. And if you look at, I suppose, chapter 2 and hopefully chapter 3 in 2022 of the Silent Distillery, of which I think that you would have found that on the singlemaltshop.com as well. They would have sold one recently, and it is something that I find not hard to believe, because I know it's happened. But if you had told me in 20 years ago, when I was a fresh-faced young,
you still are, Jared. You still are.
Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, as we were saying earlier, we are
far from it's just a bit pressure.
If you told me that you would be selling a bottle of Irish whiskey for close to €40,000, I would have said, "Oh no, I don't think that's going to happen." But that's what Middleton has done, is essentially create that, show the world that Irish whiskey has a place at the table with the best of what Scotch and Japan and everyone else has to offer. And look, world domination, as I keep on saying, is the ultimate goal. And the Single Malt Shop are the people who are helping us facilitate part of that battle.
You're very kind.
Well, look, I mean, doing it once is one thing. Doing it consistently for over 30 years, and actually keeping the essence of its DNA, is a remarkable achievement. And I mean, we see how people clamor to get one of these bottles, and how collectible they are. But of course, they're meant to be enjoyed as well. So I feel very privileged to have a sample here that we can enjoy. So
1996, isn't it? Is it like, unfortunately, the three of us and many of the people that are viewing tonight remember 1996, but isn't it hard to believe how much this barrel was sitting in a warehouse, just simply going through the process of reduction and basically evaporation and interaction within the barrel over that period while we were living our lives. And we have the luxury now of benefiting from people's work.
I was only 5 at the time, Ger, so it's I don't remember it that well.
You might add another 25 on.
It goes very well with your Christmas tree there, Ger, on the screen there. The bottle here and your Christmas tree. I think the two go very well together at this time of year.
Yeah. Look, I just want to remind our listeners and our viewers that we will be doing the draw this evening live, and we'll give it another 10 minutes before we close that. And I'll provide a list of numbers to Ed, and Ed, you can pick a random number and we'll go through it, and somebody's going to have a very enjoyable Christmas with these gifts. And
absolutely,
look, We're at
And only
951.
96 people who will be able to enjoy it. So
That's
I
true.
just want to say both of you have been incredibly generous tonight, which are don't like everybody that donated. I mean, whether it was €2 or €20 or €40, like it is an incredible charity. It really is, and the great credit to both of you for essentially highlighting the great work they do and for donating the amazing prizes. I think I would love to win any one of the whiskies that are on offer tonight.
Unfortunately, our names have been struck off the list,
Yes.
so we've got no chance. You'll have to make do with your little sample.
Yeah, well, look, we'll give it a little bit longer. Like I said, we're at 951. It'd be great to hit the 1,000. And I'm sure
So,
we will.
Gabriel has just asked a question on Facebook. How can he make a contribution from the UK? I think the if he goes on to the Irish Whiskey Magazine Facebook page, there should be a post that he can donate through.
Yeah,
Is that right,
so there's a link here. So if they just go to facebook.com/Irish Whiskey Mag, it is the first post in there. There is a donate button. And Gabriel, thank you very much. We're thinking of you. It's nice of you to join us. So thank you very much. We know that it's a difficult time for everybody not being able to come home and visit family very easily as well. So if you win, you might make your Christmas a little bit more special. But
and it's lovely to see so many friends of all of us on the call tonight as well.
Look, every donation is really very much appreciated, and it shows that people are thinking of others as well at the difficult time for themselves. But I mean, it has been a difficult year, but I suppose, Ed, online sales have been good.
Yeah, look, I think that the consumer has been going online more and more for the last few years, and pre-COVID anyway. I think COVID has accelerated that. We're all sort of part of one industry here, and I think it's very important that consumers have a chance to go out and taste these amazing products. Maybe not all the products on our site, but I mean, the ones that are available in the local bars and restaurants. My heart goes out to the on-trade after the recent news this week. I hope people still go out sensibly, but support the on-trade as much as they can, in line with whatever guidance is forthcoming. But we're the on-trade and the off-trade and the online trade. It's all very symbiotic, and we are in a good space. We have our challenges because we can't doing tasting. This is great here, but I feel almost guilty of not everybody can be sitting here tasting alongside us. So I hope that we can all contribute to promoting these amazing brands, and that things come in cycles. Consumers change. I think the one thing is, of course, consumers will go online more. It's not easy to buy online. The logistics, the legalities of it are challenging. But it's something that we're doing. We're doing this step by step and making sure that we can offer a great service and deliver to everyone.
Yeah, I think there are some tremendous whiskey stores out there, but I think one of the things that's unique about yours is the ability to offer local taxation rates.
Yep, that was a big deal for us. I mean, we are a publicly listed company, so we have to be compliant in everything we do in the way we run our business, and that means we also have to be very compliant in the way we serve our customer. And actually, the driving force here is to be able to deliver to customers' doors without the hassle of them being called up by a courier saying, "Oh, we can't deliver your bottle until you've paid your taxes online." So, we've managed to establish ourselves a representation in every major market in Europe that allows us to ship to those markets direct to people's doors. That's what it's all about. It's about service. We will be adding new markets in the new year. We're constantly looking to add. The challenges are there, but I think we'll overcome them, and hopefully people will be happy with the products and the service they receive from us. But Ireland is our base. Most
Yes.
of our business is still here in Ireland. We're very grateful to everybody who's welcomed us. We hope that people have found the experience of shopping on our store a pleasant one, and the experience of receiving their products to their satisfaction, and that's what we're here to do. So I think what's amazing is when you have an incredible brand like Middleton that and a bottling from an incredible brand like Middleton that is only available on your store. That's the ultimate for a retailer, right? And if we can do that once or twice a year, that's great. So yeah, it's been a great start, but it's only the beginning. We have a long road ahead.
It's hard to believe that you're only going 6 months, because you have had a huge impact in a very short period of time. So.
Yeah, no, it's great, and we couldn't have done it without so many people's help. The suppliers, notably IDL here, but our digital partners, Be Quick Media, who built the site and have done all those kind of amazing technical stuff, and our friends down at Stafford's in Rosslare, they store casks of whiskey down there. They don't do pick and pack for e-commerce retailers, or they didn't 6 months ago, and they do now. So these are great stories, and we're forming some great partnerships, and we're happy. We're ending the year where we need to be, but there's a long road ahead. So thank you.
Well, Stephen and Maria have kindly put up a more accurate link, if you like, to the page. If anybody's having difficulty donating, the link is there at the footer. It's a nice, easy one to remember, but you should be able to just go to our one as well. But if you are having difficulty, do let us know. Let me see. So we've had donations from, we've got a donation there from Andalucia. Look, thanks to everybody so much for donating. It really means a lot to us all. As I said, it's a fantastic cause. It's really important that we give our support to those that need it, and a lot of them through no fault of their own. And obviously there are those that have run into circumstances and we all make mistakes as well. But this is really going to make a great difference, and I'm delighted to be able to support. Where we've got greetings from Andalucia. Thank you very much, Docky. Very much appreciate. I appreciate everybody. So,
thank you, Docky.
Some people are having difficulty. If not, I'm going to share again Stephen's post there with the link, and we'll give it another 5 minutes and continue having a bit of a drink.
Great.
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, you obviously represent the portfolio of prestige drinks within the industry. But what is it? What is it about Middleton Very Rare that you think has caught the people's imagination over a long period of time?
Yeah, it's essentially you were saying it's 30 years. It's nearly close to 40 years now since it was first produced. If you think about it, so it'll be 38. The 38.
Gosh, even older than me.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, the 39th vintage will be, next year in 2022, because it was produced. The first one was 1984. So basically, it has built. I think the first batch of it was 28 casks of whiskey. It has now grown to become one of the most anticipated releases on an annual basis. And then the as I said, Irish whiskey has grown, but it did, I think, many years before there was the need for a category of premium Irish whiskey. It created one. If we think about it, really, 1780 kind of came along a couple of years after it. There wasn't a whole lot of variety within either the portfolio or the industry at the time, and there wasn't a massive amount of variety in there at the time.
I've got Jim Flynn making a point about he could actually mention the 1969 Middleton special distillers. Is it distillers release, the 1973? So I think there's two 30-year-olds, isn't there? There's a 1969 and there's a 1973, which
Yeah, and
are like hen's teeth.
absolutely. And look, a lot of those were created, you know, a lot of those were created as, I suppose, dipping the toe in the water of what direction that they were going to bring things in 2 decades ago. You know, there was a guy called Richard Black who now was the global marketing director for Chivas Brothers after he left Irish Distillers. He's from up the road here in Foxrock, and basically he had very much pushed for the creation of a really high level prestige range within the market. And you know, those products, when they were created, there wasn't I don't think there was the same demand that there is now today. I think
Absolutely,
if they went on the shelf today, they would be gone, and you know, they'd be sold before they even hit the shelf. But certainly I do remember them knocking around in the early 2000s for a significant amount of time. I remember, like, even some of the Millennium releases, having those in stock 2 years after the Millennium, trying to find people that would purchase them. I'm sure Jim, in his job at the time, was one of those people that helped to purchase things like Jameson 15-year-old, which are highly prized now by people. But again, there were just, the market wasn't there for the products at the time, and they are amazing whiskies. And a lot of what we see, a lot of what we see within the portfolio now of the Middleton range, you know, I would love to have products in around the price point available now, but they're not there.
Yeah, I remember them at less than €70 a point, and and now, you know, the whole sets go for huge money. But
I used to buy a bottle every year. As you know, I lived in Hong Kong for 20 years, and whenever I was traveling back, I used to buy the Middleton Very Rare was the brand to have. You know? Every year I'd come back and crack it open and drink it in far too short a time. And you know, geez, if I'd only had bought 2 bottles at the time and kept one, that would have been great.
I know.
But it was.
But I mean, it is the Christmas gift, isn't it?
Sorry.
It is the Christmas gift that people go for when the.
It's also the ultimate. I mean, again, in my past life, I worked in luxury goods, and Middleton was just the one. You know, I mean, you know, in talking Hong Kong, people were spending a lot of time, a lot of money on wine and whiskey, and there was only one name in Irish whiskey at the time. It was Middleton Very Rare, and it was like, whenever you're flying back to Ireland or London, if you can pick up a bottle, you know, take one back. And it was lots of great memories with it.
And as Jim said, they were all too drinkable, and that's the problem, is that I certainly would have got a bottle every year, and I was very lucky. My boss used to give me one every year from 2001 to when I made, you know, I left briefly Irish Distillers for 2 or 3 years, up to 2007, and basically I gave them as a gift to my father at Christmas, and he drank all of them, not all at once, but he, you know, over the years he drank them all. So, like, hindsight is 2020, you know what I mean? Like, if we had all known what the value in the secondary market was now, and that's another thing that is driven, and I suppose the access to you know, a secondary market now within Ireland, or the creation of one, and outside of Ireland, is also what's led to the growth of these, because, you know, there's no doubt about it, people are there's not just whiskey fans like ourselves, or people who are, you know, collectors. There's also people in there that see the value in it as well as a collectible item.
How is that viewed, Ger? I mean, obviously it's a liquid that was distilled and matured to be drank. How does the industry, I suppose, and yourselves look on these inflated prices for the old bottles?
Well, absolutely, the market is the market, and there is no, I suppose, there's no real, there's no interaction with ourselves and that secondary market. You know, ultimately we make whiskey to sell to people either directly to consumers or more preferably through a specialist retailer like the singlemaltshop.com. And that's where we want to, that's our route to market. Like, we are a business that's going a very, very long time. And I certainly, like, I myself, I collect whiskey and I collect what I know. So I love Middleton. I have a whole pile of Middleton, not at this location, in a very secure location.
We're not going to Jer's house afterwards. Yeah, I know where you live.
But I have also Redbreast is my other passion, as you know. So I have a lot of, I like everyone else, I have to enter the ballots for the Dreamcast, all of these different products. But for me, I've bought them and they're valuable. But like, certainly, like everyone else, I'd be looking at the year my children were born, and my wife would have pointed it out to me. It would be nice to keep a bottle for our children. So I have a bottle from 2012 and a bottle for 2014. I think a lot of people would have done that with Middleton Very Rare, and that's one of the reasons why Middleton Very Rare is now launched in early in the year as opposed to closer to Christmas, so that people can, get them for the wedding, get them for that birthday, that anniversary, whatever it is. And that was a big, we had a huge amount of requests for that. And since we've done it, it's been great. But on the other hand, it sells out so quickly because there's a lot more people buying it. And we can only produce quite a small amount per year relative to the absolutely enormous amount of whiskey that we have maturing in Middleton, which, I'll make no apology for, mainly goes into Jameson. And like 1.8 million barrels of whiskey maturing in Middleton is not just absolutely astonishing, but the majority of that is Middleton. Is Jameson. So Middleton is about 500 barrels a year suitable, and through the selection process, only about 250 go in there. But most of those are aged between like 15 and 36 years of age. So you can imagine the older barrels have a greatly reduced amount due to the angel share in them.
Yeah, when we meet up soon, I'll have to. We might have to look at opening these things.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice.
The 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
My father-in-law worked for Gilbey's Gin all his life, and never touched a drop. And he was given allocations, and he's, I guess, and he just kept them in his attic, and he keeps coming around to the house with, I found this in the attic. I have no idea how old this is. I think it's a Redbreast 12, but we may have to inspect it when we meet next. And
I'm up for that job. That sounds right up my street.
I think this one was probably bottled in the 70s. But the beauty is, unlike wine, that they can sit up in your father-in-law's attic, and I'm sure it's still great liquid, so we may have to sample those when we meet next.
Well, they're both they're 1984 or before. I'd say they're
70s, and I think 70s there.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
What's the volume on it in terms of, does it have it in fluid ounces or does it have it in milliliters?
40% volume, 750 milliliters.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit later.
26 and 2/3 fluid ounces, imperial.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's amazing.
Nice to have.
This one that doesn't even have a label on it, so it's so heavy as well. It's amazing.
It is whiskey, isn't it?
Oh, it's Redbreast for sure.
But it's just it's a bigger bottle, so we're used to 700 ml bottles, and when you lift to 750 ml, you really do notice the difference.
Yeah. Look, we'll give it one more minute here. I'm going to let you, Ger, take the reins there for a while I work out how it is we're going to do the draw. So at the moment, thank you very, very much. Everybody's been very generous. I really appreciate your donations. We've topped the 1,000. We're at 1,114 euros. So as I said, we'll give it one more minute, and then I will do some stuff on Excel, and I'll put all the names into an Excel spreadsheet and sort them randomly, and then you will give me a number, Ed, between 1 and 48 at the moment. Okay, well, that may vary. We may still get some donations in the next minute. So,
well, I need to put in 48 into my little.
Well, look, let's start off with the third place prize, I suppose, and I will take the entries there. So bear with me while I cut and paste. Again, everybody, thank you very much.
Feel like we're at the bingo here.
Yeah, wow.
Whiskey bingo.
Whiskey bingo. So,
and I take it you'll be able to you give us the contacts, and we'll make sure everybody gets their bottle.
Yes. So everybody I will contact through Facebook. I have their details, and
we'll just private message people and arrange to get deliveries to them in the next few days. Next week latest. It's great.
So bear with me 1 second. I will share my screen.
I think we should, while we're waiting, we should congratulate you. I think you win a prize there the other day.
Thank you very much. I was highly commended at the Icons of Whiskey Ireland Awards from
fantastic. Very well deserved.
A lesser known magazine. It's not no way as brilliant as the Irish Whiskey magazine, but nonetheless, it's nice to get the recognition. And thank you very much. I appreciate that, Ed.
Yeah, it's well deserved. It's well deserved.
Okay, so look, I have the list of names here posted in. I'm not going to show you too much there. So look, let's go first. So we'll go first with the prize of the Redbreast 10-year-old, which is a fantastic whiskey, limited in itself as well, and
commemorate 30 years of it being produced in-house in Irish distillers.
Yeah.
So
look,
Jos, the number that's come up on my random.org tombola is number 5.
Okay, number 5, and number 5 is Keith Daly. So let's keep a note of that. So I better remember that myself. But yeah, so that's fantastic, Keith. Thank you very much for your donation. Thank you for taking the time and thinking of others. So the next one, then, will we go with the Athru?
Yeah, we'll put that down to 40 again, 48.
Let's see, maybe the numbers increase. So hold on, let's see where we want to be fair to everybody.
Yeah, are we still at 48?
Yeah, we're at 49. So excuse me. So
bump it up to 49, and here we go.
Oh,
number 22.
You're faster than me. Hold on. So I'll put it in U shape. What number?
Number 22.
22 is Tom Hayes.
Well done, Tom. Brilliant.
Tom, well done. Congratulations. That'll be off to your way. I'd assume next week they should get it, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I'll put the orders in tomorrow, and it's probably likely to be Monday or Tuesday. If it's in Ireland, it may make Friday if I can get them in first thing, but more likely early next week.
Okay. All right. So look, we're at €1,138. We've 49 people. I'm going to give it one more minute and see what we can do. We can bump that number up a little bit. That's a great amount of money. Thank you very much. It just goes to show the camaraderie and that exists out there in the Irish whiskey community. And
thank you all.
Thank you very much. It's very much appreciated. Okay, I do one more refresh on Facebook. Now, the other side of it is, the charity is still there tomorrow. We'll leave the donate button up there for a couple of days. If you would just like to pick a charity that you would want to donate to, Focus Ireland is certainly warranted in being your choice. There are so many charities now, I guess, at this time of year, and if we can all do our bit, that's great. So where are we now? Okay, Ed, if you can give us another number, and this is for the fantastic 24-year-old Middleton Very Rare Single Malt, which very generously donated. So thank you again, Ed.
Drum roll, please. Number 28.
28. Better not be Jer. 28.
Jer.
No, it can't be Jer.
No way.
Again. It is Jer.
I would. I'm not going to win it, obviously.
I'll do it again, shall I?
Another number.
Jer, thank you very much. You are 28 there. Yes. Okay, so let's...
Here we go. Okay, number 40.
Excellent.
It's the first time you've won something, Jerry. We just sod's law, and you can't even get the prize.
Keith Mccann.
Well done, Keith.
McCann.
Keith Mccann from, where is Keith? He's in the group manager at Fitzer's Catering. So look, lives in Kilkenny. Congratulations. That's a marvelous prize. I hope you appreciate it. And thank you so much for the donation. Everybody that donated, large or small, it's hugely appreciated. And we will be in touch with everybody that did donate. Everybody will get an issue of Irish Whiskey Magazine. If you're already a subscriber, there's one to gift to somebody else. I just want to thank everybody for taking part, for thinking of others, and for giving. And look, this was fantastic. Ed, that was a tremendously generous gift and a fantastic idea. Honored that you thought of us to actually help participate in this. And to all our wonderful followers and our viewers, thank you so much. It'll make a big difference. And what more can I say? Thank you, Jared. Thank you very much for helping us with this as well.
My pleasure, and congratulations on raising a really great amount of money for a brilliant cause.
Yeah. Here. It's great.
Well, look, it's amazing.
Thanks,
what can be
everybody.
done. Yeah, look, let me hide everybody's, don't have everybody's details up there all the time, but so, look, thank you very much.
Just to everyone, stay safe, and thanks for organising this, Sergios, and thanks for everyone for the contribution. It's great. Cheers.
Cheers. Sláinte, everyone. Thank you.
All the best. Bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Okay. Cheers. Thank you. So we'll let you go, Ger, to your tree. Look, thank you very, very much, everybody. That's been very generous of you. It's great to see that there are some people that do support the cause. It's not about it supporting us. It's about supporting the cause. And we're grateful to be able to help the single malt shop with their generous donation. That wraps it up for us this evening. We may have one more. We weren't planning on having another show this year, but we may have a Christmas special before the end of the year. But in one way, it's a little bit sad. This will be our last show from a current location. We are moving. We're moving to a brand new location physically, but the show will be same virtually. And we are very grateful for everybody that came on and showed their support. Whether they donated or not, it shows that they were thinking of others. It's not too late to donate. If you still like to donate, please do. And I'm eternally grateful. Thank you. It means a lot. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. And we will speak to you very shortly. Thank you. Good evening.